Hey guys, what's going on? Megan here. All right, next video in the series, how to increase DHT, dihydrotestosterone, the most powerful version of testosterone. All right, so I think in the previous video we went over hormonal factors, which hormones increase DHT. In this one, I'm going to look at nutrients, food nutrients, in groups. So I'm not going to go into the specific food items. I'm going to go into like the groups like protein, carbs, fats, the different types of carbs, protein, blah, blah, blah. All right. So the tier list, again, is similar to the previous one. So low key, yes. So that's like a maybe yes in theory based on mechanistic data. But, we need more research. So if anything goes there, it means in theory it works, but we need more data. You guys know how I roll. Evidence, evidence, evidence. I need a lot of studies for me to, put my foot down or something. So if we have, iffy evidence, I'm going to put that low key yes. Now we're talking, and let's see if we have a lot of data. Could be human randomized control trials, could be meta-analysis, could be mechanistic data because some studies can be done on humans for ethical reasons. And DHT maxing, that is pretty much top of the top, right? Meaning anything that goes here, the best of the ones that go here are going to go up here. And obviously you have him maxing. That is guaranteed increase in DHT. Let's see, and obviously you have finasteride maxing, that's going to lower DHT, Smeagol maxing, that's going to crush DHT, and obviously just castrate yourself, that's going to obliterate your DHT. That is like finasteride combined with dutasteride combined with, just pretty much castration. So let's get started. And if you're new, watch all of my post videos, articles on DHT. If you want the studies on it, you want the myth busting, I have an article on my website. Join the school community where I post studies and quizzes, blah, blah, blah. So all the research is there. All right, let's get started. Let's see. Let's pick, what should I pick first? I'm going to start with drugs, right? Recreational drugs. I'm going to put that at, it's between Smeagol maxing and finasteride maxing, obviously depending on the drug, right? Whether it's weed or cocaine, or obviously, depends on how harsh the drug is. But the more inflammatory the drug is, it's going to go in Smeagol maxing, right? So I'm going to put it at finasteride maxing, right? Obviously, avoid recreational drugs, guys. Most of them are not good long term. You might get some short-term benefits, depending on the drug. For example, like tobacco, you might get some short-term benefits, but long-term, you screwed. So I'm gonna put that at finasteride maxing, no pun intended. Junk food, right? So this one is gonna represent trans fats. So trans fats, come on, guys, you are Smeagol maxing, right? That's gonna destroy your DHT levels as well as your total testosterone and your free testosterone. Remember, if you want to increase DHT, you want to increase total testosterone, you want to increase free testosterone, and you obviously want to increase IGF-1, which is through the growth hormone pathway, and you also want to increase your thyroid hormones, right? There's obviously more hormones involved, but I made a whole video about this. So this is going to put you at the bottom when it comes to DHT maxing. And keep in mind, I'm referring to not just DHT levels, but also DHT signaling, right? It's actual binding to the androgen receptor, because that's what we're looking for. We're trying to get those effects. Next, we have minerals. So that's, again, copper, iron, magnesium, zinc, blah, blah, blah. All right, I'm going to put that at DHT maxing. You need your minerals, guys. You need your minerals, not just for total testosterone, but also for free T, SHBG modulation, to keep estradiol in check, the main estrogen, and obviously as a cofactor for the synthesis of all of your anabolic hormones. So minerals, do not be deficient in any minerals if you want to optimize DHT signaling. And again, that includes zinc, magnesium, copper, iron, boron, of course, all of them. You do not want to be deficient in minerals. Obviously, that does not include the bad minerals, right? So next we have, protein, but this one is plain protein. So this one this one is tricky. I'm going to put that low key yes, right? Because it highly depends on how much attention you put on your diet. So if you're a vegan, vegetarian, it really depends on how much attention you put on your diet, because you should know by now, plant proteins are not as bioavailable as animal proteins, and they do not contain all of the amino acids unless you specialize in the ones that do, right? Because not all proteins not all plant proteins have all the amino acids. So you have to be very careful. Now, if you eat plant protein, a vegan diet, but then it's very balanced, so you're not getting all of your plant protein from one source, then yeah, you're fine, right? I'm gonna move this higher. But for the most part, I'm going to put it here because holy cow, you're going to have way too many anti-nutrients. And keep in mind, anti-nutrients are blown out of proportion. But if you're doing a heavy, hardcore vegan or vegetarian diet, yeah, of course, you're going to have a lot more anti-nutrients compared to, to somebody who's using an omnivore diet. So you really want to be careful. So I'm going to put this one at low key, yes, because it highly depends. If you're a vegan who's very meticulous with your tracking, you're making sure you're getting plant protein from different sources so that you're getting enough all the amino acids, you supplementing with B12 and other things, then yeah, you're fine. But the average person on the vegan, vegetarian diet has no clue what they're doing. So I'm going to put this here. Next, we have animal protein. I'm going to put this at hem maxing. That is mandatory for high DHT signaling, not just because of the vitamins and minerals, but remember, guys, DHT is made through free testosterone through the 5-alpha reductase enzyme, which is a protein. Where do proteins come from? Genes, right? So at the end of the day, you need amino acids from protein to make 5-alpha reductase and all the enzymes that are involved, not just in testosterone production, but in also DHT production. So you gotta make sure you have good, balanced, high protein diet, right? Not super high where it's taken away from your carbs and fats, but way higher than what the RDA recommends. Not medical advice, bitch. Next, you have supplements. Again, I'm going to put this at low-key yes, right? Because it really depends on the supplement, right? It's one big fat category. Now, of course, I'm grouping these things, right? That's because I'm going to do future tier lists where I go into details like best supplements for DHT, best protein sources for DHT, blah, blah, blah. But for the most part, as far as supplements as a group, it really depends. Some have some evidence to back them up. Some are scams. So you will have to stay tuned for the detailed video on supplements and dihydrotestosterone. Next, you have alcohol. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. All right, you are finasteride maxing. Right, you are crushing your DHT levels long term. The only reason why I'm not putting Smeagol maxing, actually, I don't want to say why I don't want to put it here because people might strawman me and start drinking alcohol. So for now, I'm going to put that finasteride maxing. Avoid alcohol for the most part. Next, you have carbohydrates, but from fruits. I'm going to put this at DHT maxing. That's one thing that the carnivores and the keto guys don't understand. You need carbohydrates, guys. Now, they're not essential, right? But that does not mean, for example, a lot of stuff are not essential, but still optimize performance, right? Creatine is not essential, but it optimizes performance when you take it. So, the argument that, oh, well, we don't need glucose, we don't need carbs because our body makes it. That's so dumb. That's so dumb. There's so many things that we don't technically need, but that optimize the fuck out of our performance. You need carbs. The science on this is so vast. There's a reason why athletes eat 60, 70% of their calories from carbohydrates, right? Especially if you're training frequently. Now, if you're not training frequently, then of course, carbohydrates don't have a big, as big of a role because your body's just going to make it from protein and fats, but it's not efficient and it's going to require an elevation in cortisol, which is bad. So, long story short, make sure you eat a high carb diet. From fruits. Don't be afraid of fruits. Don't be afraid of fructose, as long as, again, it's not super processed and blah, 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 right? So this is from fruit. Not only are you going to get your vitamins, you're going to get your minerals, you're going to get some fiber, you're going to get your boron, which is very hard to get. You're going to get vitamin C. You're going to get all of these nutrients that are crucial, not just for testosterone signaling, but also for DHT and androgen receptor function. Next, we have fiber, right? I'm going to put it at now we're talking. Believe it or not, you need fiber, right? A lot of your DHT is made in your gut. You also need fiber to keep estrogen levels in check, right? If you don't have enough fiber in your diet, you're going to have very high estrogen signaling, which obviously is going to be detrimental to your net androgen status. So fiber. A lot of you guys do not eat enough fiber. I've been doing this for years. I look at blood work and chronometer data all the time. Most of you guys are not getting enough fiber. And you wonder why you have high estrogen, high estradiol levels, low total T, low free T, blah, blah, blah. So gut health is crucial. I want to put at DHT maxing, but the reason I'm not putting higher is because, these are significantly more important. But definitely get your fiber. Gut health is so underrated. Next, we have omega-3s. Oh, look at Magikarp. I'll choose you. So I'm going to put omega-3s I'm going to put it at now we're talking, right? The reason I'm not putting higher is because if you overdo it with omega-3s, remember omega-3s are polyunsaturated fats, so if you overdo it, that could lead to the opposite effect, which is actually an increase in inflammation. So now we're talking, right? You need omega-3s to keep inflammation in check, again, as long as you're not overdoing it. And you also need omega-3s to balance your omega-6s, right? All the seed oils you guys are eating, all the fried foods, right? Omega-3s are very, very underrated. So you're gonna need it for SHBG function. You're gonna need it to keep insulin in check. You're gonna need it to keep your metabolic health, obviously optimized. So you gotta eat omega-3s, guys, mainly from fish, salmon, fatty fish. Don't get it from like shitty fish, right? So I'm not talking about tilapia. No, I'm talking about fatty fish, mackerel, sardines. The king is salmon. Next, and you also gotta be careful. The reason I don't want to put it high is because a lot of you guys are trying to get all of your omega-3s from fish oil, which depending on where you're getting it from, you might actually get the opposite effect, right? So again, whole foods are king. Next, we have toxic chemicals. So anything that's, again, toxins. I'm going to put that, just castrate yourself. It's going to nuke your DHT, right? So self-explanatory. If you need me to explain to you why you should avoid ingesting toxic chemicals, then you're on the wrong channel. Next, probiotics. Now, I'm actually going to put this higher than fiber. DHT maxing, right? Because in fact, the goal of fiber, one of the goals of fiber is to increase gut biome diversity and to pretty much have a diverse gut flora. So probiotics, I'm going to put at DHT maxing. Remember, a lot of your DHT is actually made in your gut. Let's see. Fuck is this? Oh, saturated fats. Saturated fats. DHT maxing. But you got to be careful. Once again, inverted U curve. I want you guys to tattoo this in the back of your head, guys. Inverted U curve. I'm going to say this over and over and over again. Right? There's a limit to everything that is good. Okay? So you don't want to overdo on saturated fats. You don't want to overdo on protein. You don't want to overdo on anything that I recommend. Right? Because the inverted U curve states that anything that is good for you will eventually become bad if you do too much of it, right? You're going to run into the asymptote and eventually it's going to curve down. The reverse is also true. Things that are quote-unquote bad for you, right? Depending on what it is, right? It's a small amount might be beneficial. That applies to hormones. That applies to everything, right? And of course, it's a fucking limit, right? When it comes to bad things, right? A small amount of bleach is not good for you. But you get the fucking point, guys. Don't strawman me. So yeah, make sure you're getting enough saturated fat. And you guys already know why. Saturated fat has many roles in the body, apart from obviously the whole cholesterol needed for testosterone stuff. Everyone is repeating that over and over again without really understanding the nuance. Next, let's see. Fuck is this? Oh yeah, seed oils. Oh god, you are finasteride maxing. You gotta be careful with seed oils, guys. It's not that they're the devil. It's just that we have way too many omega-6 in our diet, right? Our omega-6 to omega-3 ratio is screwed. And when you add seed oils to that, you're increasing the omega-6 to 3 ratio, but they're also prone to oxidative stress, right? They're going to increase oxidative stress. They're going to increase AGEs. They're very prone to lipid peroxidation. So be very careful with those. So polyunsaturated fats, which are mostly omega-6s, very bad for DHT and testosterone as well. Now, if you overdo it, now I'm going to put in Smigo maxing, right? So a little bit is not the end of the world, right? But if you're overdoing it, especially with fried foods, then it's going to go with Smigo maxing. So it really depends, right? A little bit is finasteride maxing, a lot is Smigo maxing. The dose makes the poison. Let's see. Next, you have healthy fats. So like avocado, this is mainly monounsaturated fats, right? This one was omega-3, so that's polyunsaturated, but that was omega-3. This one is MUFAs, monounsaturated fats. So from nuts, pause, from avocado, olive oil. I'm going to put that at now we talking, right? Very important for testosterone and free testosterone production, which is obviously going to convert to DHT. Not to mention it's going to lower inflammation as well. DHT has this weird effect where if you increase inflammation, it will increase in some parts of your body, whereas it will go down in others. So next, we have anabolic androgenic steroids. Guys, do you think I should make a tier list on steroids? I've been wanting to make one for so long. I'm just scared YouTube is going to cancel the shit out of me. Because you guys know, again, I'm anti-steroids except for 3 groups that I always mention. So comment below. Let me know if you guys want me to make a tier list ranking all the anabolic steroids, the DHT derivatives, the nandrolone derivatives, the testosterone derivatives, and maybe even SOMs. But anyway, so anabolic steroids, I'm going to put at low-key yes, right? Because it depends, right? Some are substrates for DHT, some are substrates for, 5-alpha reductase, and some are not. All right, so I'm going to put at low-key yes. Obviously, they're going to increase DHT depending on which compound we're referring to. If it's a strong substrate for 5-alpha reductase, of course, it's going to increase DHT levels. If it's not, then it's going to do the opposite. So That highly depends. Next, we have, and keep in mind, if you're using DHT derivatives, then that's not going to convert to DHT because it's already derived from DHT. So it might increase DHT signaling, but it's not going to increase DHT levels per se. And when I say DHT derivatives, I'm referring to stuff like Proviron, fucking, guys, it's super late, so I'm exhausted right now. But anyway, so what did I say? Proviron, Anavar, Winstrol, Masteron, Primo, blah, blah, blah. Those are all the DHT derivatives. And there's obviously more. Next, we have, the fuck is this? Oh, antioxidants. It's crazy how I make these lists and I fucking forget. I wish these pictures were bigger. But anyway, antioxidants, I'm going to put that at DHT maxing. Most of you guys' diets are so low in antioxidants. In fact, that's the reason why you got to eat more fruits and vegetables. You need antioxidants, guys. One is one of the biggest killers of testosterone, inflammation, right? How do you lower inflammation? Antioxidants. How do you lower oxidative stress? Antioxidants, right? So you got to get them. I don't care if they come from fruits, vegetables, sometimes supplements, but you guys need to antioxidant max. Next, we have vitamins. Again, I'm going to put it right next to minerals. They are cofactors for the production of all of your anabolic steroids, right? So you're going to need your vitamins to synthesize testosterone. You're going to need it to keep SHBG in check. You're going to need it for free testosterone production. You're going to need it to keep estrogen in check, right? Your liver is going to help process a lot of your estrogen. But guess what? It's going to need a lot of vitamins and minerals for that. So once again, do not neglect your vitamins and minerals. And as always, from whole foods. Next, we have water. Obviously, I mean, come on. Like, where should I put this? You need water to fucking live. So I want to put at him maxing, but it's like, you need water for everything, right? So I'm going to put that now we talking, right? Because you need water for everything, right? So don't forget, guys, gallon of water a day, and make sure you're getting your electrolytes, which are minerals. See, everything goes back to the freaking micronutrients that everyone neglects. Next, you have steroid precursors, right? Natural steroid precursors. Again, depending on which one we're referring to. So there's some that are yam, like Dalsjanin and stuff like that. Obviously, we need more data on that front, but I'm going to put that now we're talking because it really depends on the precursor. Yes, there are some steroid precursors in nature. Not all of them have the same effect, which is, again, why I'm going to do a tier list on each and every item in here. Next, you have plastics. Plastics, microplastics, BPA. Yeah, unfortunately, you are finesse about maxing, right? You guys should know by now. The reason why I don't emphasize removing plastics from your life as much is simply because you're never going to avoid plastics. In this day and age, you are not going to avoid plastics. And I don't want to give you guys anxiety. Because if I make a video saying, oh my goodness, I'm going to get a million questions. Because, guys, plastics are everywhere. You know, even if you buy supplements, it comes in a plastic bottle. If they're still BPA free, well, they usually have, BPS or a bunch of other stuff. So you're not going to avoid plastics. So what I usually tell people is try to minimize it, but I don't want you to freak out and have anxiety over it because trust me, you're going to spend 90% of your life trying to avoid plastics. They are everywhere. Best thing you could do is try to eat a healthy diet, a healthy lifestyle so that you can actually mitigate the downsides of plastics. But yeah, these fuckers are everywhere. Everything you're using. You have a dynamometer, oh, there's going to be some plastic in it, right? You monitor your blood pressure every day. You go to the gym, you getting in your car. Plastics are everywhere. And you guys have so much anxiety that I don't like recommending things that are going to give you more anxiety, right? Because trust me, if I say eliminate all plastics from your life, I'm going to get a billion questions, So just minimize plastics. And the best way to deal with it, using the Pareto principle, is to simply eat things and do things that help offset the damage that plastics are causing. But yeah, long story short, yes, in theory, they're very bad for you. They block the androgen receptor, they increase inflammation, blah, blah, blah. Same pathway. Next, you have junk food. I mean, come on, guys. Come on, right? So this is just basic junk food, chips, cookies, processed fat. I'm just going to put it as smegomaxing, right? Right next to trans fats. And last but not least, you have carbohydrates in general. So that's the whole carbohydrate family. So that includes everything. Fiber, fruits, healthy starch, some grains, some good grains. Now, obviously, right, if you have celiac disease, right, if you're very sensitive to gluten, that's going to screw you over. So you might want to get rid of that. But carbohydrates as a group, I'm going to put it at him maxing. At the very top, you need carbohydrates for optimal DHT function, guys. Not only you need carbohydrates for, obviously, glucose, because glucose is needed in the pentose pathway to make NAD, right, which is the coenzyme involved in DHT synthesis. But you also need it to increase total T, free T. You need it for, and in fact, that's the reason why people that are on a carnivore diet or keto diet have very, very, very high total T, but very low free T, right? Because the SHBG is through the roof. And then when they reintroduce carbs, what happens? I see it in my clients all the time. They reintroduce carbs, obviously, a little bit at a time, and then boom, free T goes up through the roof, which obviously increases total DHT and also free DHT, right? You're going to need it for IGF-1, which is needed for 5-alpha reductase. You're going to need this for thyroid function, which is mandatory for DHT levels. So, guys, do not neglect protein, carbohydrates, and everything in the DHT maxing category. All right, guys, hope this video helps. Join the school community, buy the ebooks to support the channel, all that good stuff. I'm out.